good. But I said I wouldn't go on about that because that just, makes people feel all unnecessary, like I've set a huge bar for them. So those of you who know, you know what your treat you're in for. For those of you who don't, imagine that you do and get all excited, as I get excited, and welcome to this stage, Amber Page.
Hello. It's so weird being here. Sorry, I'm checking my set list on my arm. So, the first thing I will reveal about my soul, of the many things I reveal on stage, is that I don't really like clubbing. I'm not very good at it. I don't really get it. And it's weird because I love dancing. And I always thought maybe I just don't like dark rooms or flashing lights or loud music or something. I realised that actually I just don't really like people. So then I had this one clubbing night where I did like someone there, and I wrote this poem about it. 3 a.m. The crowd is leering, dancing in stop motion, shifting, refreezing. You find me reeling, floundering in the inconsistencies of my breathing, the unrealities of the strobe glare beating. I touch your fingers for one fleeting instant, intertwine with your skin for a second. I'm safe in the certainties of contact until the light flashes and the moment collapses. I shiver in street lamps, sit silent in taxis. Thank you for your coat and leave all else in the brackets. There are lines on my lips that will never be spoken, and I know I won't share your bed tonight because you don't own one, so we freeze on the floor like two halves broken. It's easy to break what God hasn't woven, or so says an old poem, or maybe it doesn't. 12 p.m. we hunt breakfast, fill the adolescent holes at each of our centres, traverse traffic and rainstorms, conversing, concentric, sharing an axis but never connected. Perhaps this way is better. I'm still shattered from past conquests of my history, still tripping over lost initials and constantly catching my coat sleeves on the turnstiles of memory. How about we grow up, grow old, get married, have babies, ponder communion, communication and wonder, or more likely suffer a series of near misses. Greetings in classrooms and glimpses from train windows, restrain admissions, maintain professional distance, or just maybe I'll once again touch your fingers as we dance in the dark and the strobe glare flickers. Sorry, I got tongue twisted. Apologies for that. I live in Peterborough now. I'm a teacher now. It's a bit serious. But I used to live in Cambridge for a few years, and I worked here. And while I lived in Cambridge, it was a major culture shock coming from Liverpool to Cambridge. It was very strange. And I wrote this poem. And I hope no one is offended, because Cambridge is good. It's a good place. But I hope, maybe this is true as well. It's called Mirror Town. In March, the snow came down. Turned my coat into a wedding dress or a hospital gown. Mirror Town, trapped in my eye. The place where I've learned to live, but I can't forgive for being where I once came to die. I walk through streets wreathed in white. There are shadows sleeping in the snow tonight. Beneath lamplight spilling from temples of learning, horizons hulking with castles and churches hide the huddles in doorways and stairwells. And at midnight the magic shatters. On the cobbles her one heel clatters, skin gleams, eyes glisten, hair glitters. The reality of glass slippers is frozen toes and blood-streaked pavements, broken wings, mascara-cheeked faces. She claps her hands over her ears to jeers and calling, but she can't help but hear their taunting. She is followed home by echoed voices. She is so gorgeous. But she sees herself only in your distortions, measures her proportions in mirrored contortions. Meanwhile, you thrive on the eternal dream of yourself, refracting back into existence. Every second the film roll flickers, altering minutiae with each frozen image, blurring the truths that would tarnish your finish. A polished self-portrait allows no contention. Remade in your own image, you can't help but reach perfection. As I stand in the shadow of your flawless self-correction, can I learn to love you, or only your reflection? The reason that I used to introduce it was totally just as an excuse to go and tell people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, being a teacher, I don't know how this got round the school, but it got round, and then they found it and they Googled it, and I swear a lot in my poems often, so that had to come down. So subscribe to my YouTube channel when I'm not a teacher anymore, probably after the end of this year, and then I will be back. But you can follow me on Twitter too. This poem is about the internet and stuff. And again, I disconnect. Out of mind, out of time, out of body, I've stepped where meaning is a malleable Doppler effect within drunken texts that I already regret in the century seconds before they're sent. We're all emotions or emojis, all statements circumspect until validated by blue thumbs held erect while facts are left unchecked and incorrect. I'm talking into telephones, but there's a snag in the timing. I'm staring into videos, but it's my own face that's hypnotising. With fingernails I can't stop biting. With watering eyes I'm midnight typing because it seems all I want to say I can only say in writing. And the only love I can find, I find in swiping. So strange that in this age of intersection I am trapped in a cage of introspection, straining at the reins of this obsession with disconnection. Perhaps I'd have the courage to press send if someone would tell me how this ends, if someone would raise their hands and say no. I am not that 50th perfect shot. I am the 49 I deleted and lost. I am all the smiles that slid off. I am all the hours that picture cost. I am all the jokes I thought and forgot. Not the witticism, cynicism so carefully crafted. I am not banter, I am laughter. Do not confuse the two, you fucking wonker. I am not 140 characters, I am the millions of syllables that came after. I am cathedrals of pages, chronicles of chapters, not a newsfeed stream of boasting and chatter designed to both self-deprecate and self-flatter. I am not all the coffees and cream cakes that I filtered. I am all the meals I should have eaten but didn't. I am not the phone that I glance at every six minutes and I say good riddance to your lipless, loveless, X marks the spot kisses. When I talk about my heart, I don't mean the symmetrical scarlet from a pack of cards, but something living, dripping, bleeding, beaten, hot and hard, victory marked and love lost scarred, just waiting for the real drum beat to start. Can someone say that, please? Because I can't. This next one I wrote towards the end of what I call my gap year was actually the year in which I just failed to get a job that would pay me much to actually eat and pay my rent and everything. And I spent the entire year feeling like that was my fault. And not the fault of the government who thinks that 0 hours contracts are fine and who keeps cutting all the funding to the industries that I actually wanted to work in.
Woo!
Yeah. But it's not so much a ranty political thing, I'm sorry if you like that. It's about her. After I graduated, I thought I wasn't going to have any exams anymore, I wasn't going to have any tests, and I was very, very, very wrong. This one's called quizzes. I've got a piece of paper that says I'm first class of bullshitting, but the clock is ticking, and this time I don't think I'm going to get my conclusion written, because it happens again. In the exam conditions of a bar's back kitchen, last hour of the night shifting glasses from the washer, and my partner, who has already rolled his mysteries into marijuana, my age in years but in tattoos far my senior, asks me why I believe in something that can't be seen, and I'm wishing that my tuition had prepared me for these sorts of quizzes, and long for the good old days of essays and supervisions. When every job interview became an inquisition, did my short life meet the specification of this position? I owed the world an explanation for my own existence. There's a sinister persistence to the question marks. Even the shop till keeps asking if I've swiped my nectar card. From where I stand, it's hard to mark a fail or pass, as when some NHS bureaucrat asked point blank if I could last 3 weeks without killing myself, and dealt a pack of scorecards to chart my mental health. Since when did therapy become bingo? Since when did survival become a game show? It seems all I've learned is how much I don't know. So, I still feel myself always weighed and measured, caught in the brake lights of other people's guesses, like Osiris, weighing my heart against feathers, like the doctor's scales onto which I'm constantly stepping. And have you eaten today? My friends and family are always checking, despite the 4 years I've answered yes to that question. And so my life has become an endless session of examinations and lessons. But this time I'm going to do the asking, because I'm looking for an answer from someone who knows my name before I have given it, knows my shame and has already forgiven it. I don't just want a life, I want permission to live in it. And when you've learned to love, and when you've learned to listen, then you can come to me with your quizzes. It's really weird to perform this poem here because after I'd written it, back when I worked here, I think maybe I'd watched the Hammer and Tongue once, but I never would have performed out or anything like that, or opened the slam or anything. But after I'd written this poem, I had a dream that I was performing it here. Only because of dreams, it didn't look like here, it actually looked like the old drama studio of my school. But I knew, with that dream logic, I knew that it was here and it was Hammer and Tongue. So when I knew I was performing, I just couldn't resist performing this poem. Like most of my poems, it is addressed to someone, and it is addressed to my mum. It's called Rivers. You raise me to believe that life is a stream. We step out for a moment, then rejoin the current. But life still flows through the fields and the rocks and the forest, and that is where God is. So I swim back, through my private stash of secret photographs, backstroke past the photo booth snaps of you with a red-haired man who shares my smile that I had to hide lest Dad should find them. Finally I reach us at Morvanna, Mother Mountain, where we paddle in Welsh rivers, sun, moss, pebbles. I can still feel the cold water creeping round my ankles. You are the girl who looks like me, but I'll never be. Younger and more lovely than I'll ever be. At your hip, a strip of pink shorts and auburn hair resembling the child that you once were. She's not supposed to be there. You are a star in our dark city that breeds legends. Your name should have been up there alongside Scylla and Lennon before my birth eclipsed the candles of your 18th birthday cake. So I grew up knowing I was your biggest mistake, even before I knew about love and drugs and rape, before I knew about kitchen knives and the scars they make. And since your innocence is forsaken, you'll take mine away. A woman ought to face forbidden fruits, mourn the memories of her mother's youth, but tell me what you know of truth. You read leaves left in the bottom of cups better than you read books. You taught me the meaning of colours and candles, but your handle on what happened or didn't has never been straight. I was 11 before I figured that my ancestors weren't Vikings, because being Dutch isn't the same as being Danish. And so the story wavered. You said they were weavers, chased to Wales by Flemish floods. I uncover chronicles that confirm the immigration, sit back satisfied in the resonation of historical weight. Until Grandad says no, they were Huguenots on the escape from Catholic hate. Stories shared so often they become facts, until I do the maths, place the dates, get the stories straight and lose all faith. I'm left with suspicions that I can't shake for crimes, maybe not committed, that I can't contemplate without a shiver. And I lie awake wondering what might be running in my veins today, running like the river. Meanwhile, you cast yourself in Abraham, counting the sky, promised paradise through progeny. So I still strive to meet the sea, to the estuary, the Mersey, the Conway, the Alt and the Dee, where truth is clear and love is free. Sometimes my mouth is filled with the cacophony of your fantasy, and I can't swallow it down. It's sink or swim to you, it's do or drown. All I ever wanted was to make you proud. You will always be that dream where reality caught her, and mother and daughter forever paddle together in cold Welsh water.